if we're expecting to not be scared, to not have doubt, to not get tired, to not have a bad day, to not get in our head about this shit, well, then we're lying to ourselves, right? Like we know that that's going to happen. And if we're letting the motivation kick us in the ass enough to get started on something, then we can expect the anxiety and the doubt and the fear and all that other shit to get in the way when we need to persist. So we cannot rely on our emotions. Emotions are fleeting. Who's with me on that one? Who knows? We all know that to be true, right? So the other piece here is discomfort. And I might make you all a little uncomfortable right now as we're talking about discomfort, because like I said, it is the key to all growth. You cannot grow if you're not being uncomfortable. And you can see here that we have our comfort zone. From there, we have our stretch zone. And from there, we have the panic zone. So comfort zone would be today, it's cold. You sit on the couch, curl up in a hoodie under a blanket, watch Netflix. Don't go to the goal planning seminar because that seems like a lot. It seems overwhelming. That blonde guy seems a little too intense. That's okay. That's the comfort zone. You guys are all now, hopefully, somewhere in a stretch zone. You're doing something a little bit new. You're doing something challenging. You're doing something different than you were doing previously. You're learning something different. That's hopefully expanding your mind in a new way. But then all the way out here, we have the panic zone. And what I want to be very clear about is that in order for us to be uncomfortable, in order for us to make progress, we do not have to be living over here. In fact, I don't want you to be living over here because it's going to be very difficult to be consistent. With my clients, a lot of times they want all the answers, all the things to do all at once. They want the workout plan. They want me to put all the specific weights that they're going to use, the diet plan with all their macros to a T, the recovery protocol, the supplements, nailing every single calorie down, and all the other habits that go along with it. I call that the kitchen sink approach. And it's asking you to be a different person tomorrow than you were today, an all-around different person. And that might work for a day or two or three, or as long as you're, motivated? But as soon as you get overwhelmed, because it is going to be overwhelming, it's all going to fall to the wayside, and now you're picking up the pieces and nothing is actually sticking. So what I like to do is set a low bar, a very low bar, something that's just outside of your comfort zone, not even over here, but right here, right on the fringe of your comfort zone. And if we're always living right here, then we're constantly pushing ourselves, and our comfort zone grows over time. We're staying away from the panic zone. And if at any point today you guys feel like the plan that you're making for yourself is pushing you into the panic zone, well, then we have to pull back and we have to go, that's not the right plan then. Okay? Who's with me on this one? The problem is that we live in an age of convenience where everything is really easy. 100 years ago, we had no choice but to be uncomfortable. And today, we have every excuse to remain 100% comfortable. So I can literally stay home and have batteries delivered to my house. Great example from just the other day. I didn't have to leave my house to go get batteries. I know a lot of us use these apps. I use these apps too, not all of them. And without anybody saying which ones, who here uses these apps? Okay. So, of course, the Netflix and Instagram and TikTok, those are distractions, right? So when we could be building our business, let's say, or doing something where we're learning or growing or actually making something of ourselves, we revert to distractions. When we know that in order to be healthier, we should probably be meal prepping. It doesn't take that long. It's actually not that hard. It's truly not that hard to meal prep and just spend an hour setting up all your meals for the week so that you have healthy, quick, easy to access meals that hit all your nutritional needs. We know that that's what we should be doing, yet it's so fucking easy to just order DoorDash or Uber Eats. Who here can relate to that? It's okay. That's what we're here for. All right. How many times have people said, I know that the apps suck. I got to get off the dating apps. I got to go meet people in real life. But who, of course, goes back to the apps? I'm not going to ask. And obviously, Pornhub is an atrocious one. I'm not going to spend too much time there. But this one in the bottom right, ChatGPT, we know what that is. Who here, every time there's a decision to make, goes and asks Chatty Cathy, I call her. Okay. A lot of people do. You are outsourcing all of your personal power. You are outsourcing all of your agency. You're outsourcing your effort. You're outsourcing discomfort. You're outsourcing decision-making. And you're allowing distractions to seep in. every time you reach for one of these apps. I told you we're getting a little bit uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay. That's how we grow. We have to realize that. Every time you're outsourcing that, you're losing agency, you're losing personal power. Has anybody seen this movie? Wall-E. Who can tell me what's going on here? Wall-E is a robot. He goes, I think, on a spaceship in a future version of Earth where the humans are no longer able to inhabit the Earth. So they go on a spaceship and everybody on the spaceship is in these floating chairs, watching garbage TV, drinking, I don't know what that is, a big gulp or whatever. And they're all just a bunch of fat, wasted spirits. There we go. There we go. Nice. I love that we brought the soundboard. Awesome. Every time you reach for one of these apps, we are making a vote to be this person. Sorry, it's the truth. Every single time. And that's where true discipline comes from, is understanding what our principles are versus doing what's practical. So when it comes to discomfort, when it comes to pushing ourselves and doing the things that we know we need to do in order to be the person that we need to be, our principles might be, well, I'm healthy, so I go to the gym no matter what, and I meal prep no matter what. However, in practicality, as we said, maybe work gets in the way. We have to work, so therefore we use that as an excuse to not go to the gym. And because meal prepping takes this much effort versus door dashing, which takes this much effort, we go to DoorDash. So we say that we have these principles to be a healthy person, but in reality, practicality, we fall to the easiest, most comfortable thing most of the time.